actually work on a project, they may come upon your algorithms or whatever open source then. So
To
closed
actually
source
work
is
on a
nothing but
project,
the
they may
projects
come
or the
upon
algorithms you
your
create will be kept
algorithms
within
or
you,
whatever
and
open
you won't
source
be sharing it exactly to the people to be used.
source then.
And the
So
main
to actually
advantage,
work
which is
on a
nothing but
project,
the
they may
projects
come
or the
upon
algorithms you
your
create will be kept
algorithms
within
or
you,
whatever
and
open
you won't be
source
sharing it exactly to the
reach
people
to
to
the
be
people
used.
source
And
then.
the
So
main
to actually
advantage, which
work
is
on a
nothing but
project,
the
they may
projects
come
or the
upon
algorithms you
your
create will be kept within
algorithms or
you,
whatever
and
open
you won't be
source
sharing it exactly to the
reach to
people
the
to be
people
used.
source then.
And the
So
main
to actually
advantage,
work
which is
on a
nothing but
project,
the
they may
projects
come
or the
upon
algorithms you
your
create will be kept
algorithms.
there are there only open source softwares? Are there any hardware over there? Yes, there is hardware. Open source hardware exists too. So
There are
Arduino,
there only open source
Autopilot,
softwares? Are
and
there any hardware
many
over
of
there?
these things.
Yes, there is
This is gonna
hardware.
like
Open
help
source
you
hardware exists
like
too.
get
So
in many
there are
Arduino,
there only open source
Autopilot,
softwares? Are
and
there any hardware
many
over
of
there?
these things.
Yes, there is
Hardware
this
platforms
hardware.
that
Open
help
source
you
hardware
use
exists
like
too.
get
So
in many
there are
Arduino,
there only open source
Autopilot,
softwares? Are
and
there any hardware
many
over
of
there?
these things.
Yes, there is
Hardware
this
platforms
hardware.
that
Open
help
source
you
hardware
use
exists.
softwares that we'll be using. Okay. So yeah, this is the thing that I had to speak about, the open source thing. So now we'll be
Softwares
having
that we'll be using.
Komil.
Okay.
Okay, she'll be explaining
So
about
yeah,
Git
this is
and
the
GitHub,
thing
how
that I
we are
had to
actually
speak about,
pushing and
the
doing
open
all
source
the thing.
repos.
So
Okay,
now we'll be
softwares
having
that we'll be using.
Komil.
Komil.
Okay, she'll be explaining
So
about
yeah, this
Git
is
and
the
GitHub,
thing
how
that
Yes,
I
we are
had to
Abhinav.
actually
speak
I'll
about,
share my screen now.
the
open
open source
source thing.
repos.
So
Okay,
now we'll be
softwares
having
that we'll be using.
Komil.
Okay.
Okay, she'll be explaining
So
about
yeah, this
Git
is
and
the
GitHub,
thing
how
Yes,
that
we
I
are
had to
Abhinav.
actually
speak
I'll
about,
share my screen now.
the
open
open
source
source
thing.
repos.
So
Okay,
now we'll be
softwares
having
that we'll be using.
Komil. Okay, she'll be explaining
So
about
yeah, this
Git
is
and
the
GitHub,
thing
Yes,
how
that
we
I
are
had
Abhinav.
to
actually
speak
I'll
about,
share my screen now.
the
open
open
source
source
thing.
repos.
So
Okay,
now we'll be
softwares
having
that we'll be using.
Komil. Okay, she'll be explaining
So
about
yeah,
Git
this is
and
the
GitHub,
thing
how
that
we
I
are
had to
Okay.
actually
speak about,
open source thing.
So,
So now we'll be having
good morning, everyone.
Komil.
And I will be taking you through your journey on learning the basics
Okay.
of Git and GitHub. So, every time someone hears the words Git and GitHub, the first question that comes to their mind is if Git and GitHub are the same. Well, no, not the same. So, what is Git then? So if you were to Google this, your Google response would look something like this. Git is one of the most widely used distributed VCS or version control system. It is free and open source project and was started in the year 2005 by Linus Torvalds. Okay, so what does that even mean? Did you understand what it said? So what we can do now is break it down so that we understand it better. All right. So what is VCS? First, let's understand what it means. Okay. Version control is a system that keeps records of all the changes done to a file or files over time and helps us to switch back to any version. So for example, take video game. Okay. So in the video game, while you're playing, you have save points to save all the levels that you have reached, right? So for example, you've reached the changes that are made to a file, all right? And that is where it comes in. Okay. What is Git and why do we use Git? Changes that are made to a file. Stores the revisions in a project and that is where in just one directory. Okay. What is Git and why do we use nothing but a folder? Changes that are made to a file. The revisions in a project and that is where in just one directory. And you can remind to any revision and why do we use nothing but a folder? Changes that are made to a file. The revisions in a project and that is where in just one directory. And you can remind to any revision and why do we use nothing but a folder? And Git does but not only the revisions in a project and that is where in just one directory. And you can remind to any revision why do we use Git on folder. And Git does but not only the revisions in a project and that is where in just one directory. And you can remind to any revision why do we use Git on folder. And Git does but not only the revisions in a project and that is where in just one directory. And you can remind to any revision why do we use Git. And you can remind it of any revision why do we use Git. So now let's familiarize ourselves and we can share and you can remind it of the direction where to use Git folder. The terminal is the interface of the application and you can remind it of the direction where to use Git folder. The terminal is the command interface of the application. First, what is a Git repository? So the folder where your project is stored is a repository. And if the folder that is the repository has a .git folder in it, so then it is called where your project is stored is a repository. Okay. And if the folder that is the repository has a .git folder in it, this commit command is called where your project is stored is a repository. Okay. So whenever you're making changes and you want that is the repository has a .git command in it, this commit command is called where your project is stored in a repository. Three stages. And whenever you're making changes and you want that is the repository has a command in it, this commit command is called where your project is stored in a repository. Three stages. And whenever you're making changes and you want that is the repository has a command in it, this commit command is called where your project is stored in a repository. Three stages. And whenever you're making changes and you want that is the repository has a command in it, this commit command is called where your project is stored in a repository. Three stages. And whenever you're making changes and you want that is the repository has a command in it, this commit command is called where where your source repository is stored is a repository. Three stages, and whenever you're making changes and you want to save it there, simply have a local commander in it. This commit command is folder where your source repository is stored is a repository. Three stages, and whenever you're making changes and you want to save it there, simply have a local commander in it. This commit command is folder where your source repository is stored is a repository. Three stages, and whenever you're making changes and you want to save it there, simply have a local commander in it. This commit command is folder where your source repository is stored is a repository. Three stages, and whenever you're making changes and you want to save it there, to see what your code looked like when you were at the second stage, okay, at the second commit. So for looking at that code, you can use checkout commit. Code looked like help you when you were at the second stage, any stage at the second commit code that you written. So for looking at that code, you can use checkout commit. Code looked like help you. So when you will at the second stage, what it does is any stage at the second commit that you written. So for looking at that code, you can use checkout commit. Code look like you style. When you will at the second stage, does is any stage at the second commit that you written. I don't like looking at styles that you added. You can use checkout commit. So then you look like style. When you will at the second stage, does is any stage at the second commit that you written. I don't like looking at styles that you added. You can use checkout commit that you written. Style. When you will at the second stage, does is any stage at the second commit that you written. You can use checkout commit that you written. Style. When you have the second stage, does is any stage at the second. You cannot go back. So what it does is, if in case you're like 100% sure that you want to change your code completely. So example, you want to go back to the second commit. So what it does is, if you want to work on the 100% sure from there that you want to change your code completely. Is it adds the file to the staging area. So like I told you before, there is modified test staging and then you can commit, right? So using the command git add is you can add the file to the staging area. So like I told you before, there is modified test staging and then you can commit. Git commit. So using the command git add is you can add the file to the staging area. So like I told you before, there is modified test staging and then you can commit. Git commit. So using the command git add is you can add the file to the staging area. So like I told you before, there is a local file to the staging and then you can commit. Git commit. So using the command git add is you can add the file to the staging area. So like I told you, there is a local file to the staging and then you can commit. Git commit. So using the command git add is you can add the file to the staging area. So like I told you, there is a local file to the staging and then you can commit. Git commit. So using the command git add is you can add the file to the staging area. So like I told you, there is a local file to the staging and then you can commit. Git commit. So using the command git add is you can add the file to the staging area. So like I told you, there is a local file to the staging and then you can commit. Have the desktop folder on your left. So this is my command. As you can see, I'm using the command mkdir on the Korean code. Mkdir command is used to create a repository, to create a folder. Right? This will create an index.html file in your folder. Right? Now that you've made the file, I'm using the Visual Studio Code idea for anything that you see. There are many out there you can add other ideas. I just prefer Visual Studio Code. So now I'll just open the folder. You can name the folder whatever you like. I'll just use Git because it seems more relevant. So I'll open the index.html file. And before I type my code here, I'll just initialize Git. So remember I told the command to initialize Git is Git. When I do that, you can see the message initialize and Git was in the location. File using the command git commit, and here using -m you can write any message that you like. For example, if you made plenty of using the command like git commit, 4 commits, and here using -m you can write any message that you like later. For example, if you made a code, okay, just adding a background color to the body. Okay, so let's say the color is aqua. Okay, so we can save it. And then again, when we check the git status, you will be able to see that it will be in red because we haven't added it to our staging area yet. Right? So now we can go ahead and add this to the staging area. And you might remember that the command that we used was git add, and then we added the file name. Okay? But when you make changes to multiple files and you don't want to name every single file that you've made, you can just substitute that with a dot, because the dot will represent all the files that you've made changes to. So you can just add git add dot. Okay, so that will add the files that you've made changes to the staging area, and now you can see that it is in green. So now you can go ahead and commit the files. Okay, so git commit -m and the message added styles. All right. So now that you've made the commit, I just went ahead and added a few more codes, a few more commits. Okay, so I have changed the title, and I've added a few H1 and H2 tags. All right, and I've even made some changes in the styles. Right? As you can see, I've added a style, text line, H1 tag, and font style to H2 tag. Okay, so I've made, if you can see on the right hand side, I have made couple of commits. Okay, so now if you want to list out all the commits that I've made, use git log, and you can see my complete commit history. Okay, So you can see the author, the date, and the message that came along with the commit. Okay. This can get a little too complex when you are making multiple commits and you don't always need to see the author and the date. Okay. So if you want to minimize this whole thing, you can just print log in one line. Okay. So that will give you the commit history in a single line. Okay. So you can see the message and it comes along with the commit ID. You can see those alphanumeric terms in the beginning. That is the commit ID. All right. We can use the commit ID to refer to the to any of the commits that we've made previously. Okay. So now that we know how to make commits, let's see the some of the concept that we had understood before. That is get checkout, get reward, and get reset. All right. So first, get checkout. So get checkout, and let's say I want to view how my file looked when I had added styles. All right. So when I had added styles, there were no changes made to the titles, and there were no tags added or styles added to the tags. Right. So when you use checkout, it helps you view the code. Okay, you cannot make changes to the code, and if you make changes, it won't be saved. All right, so you can just view the code and see how it and refer it for later. Okay, so now since you viewed the code, you need to go back to your main code base. Okay, so for that we'll use checkout master. Okay, so now you can see your code is back and you're able to view the tags and the titles. All right. So now that you know how get checkout works, we will check get reward. Okay. So if you remember, I told you what get reward does is it will make it seem like the comment that you made never existed. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to go back to the stage when I had not added styles. Okay. So you can see when I revert it, I get this message on my Visual Studio Code. Okay, and it tells me if I can accept the current changes or the incoming changes. So based on the user, whatever they prefer, we can make the changes. All right, just and then I prefer to accept the changes. All right, and then now that I've done that, we will go ahead, save it, and we will commit the changes that we've made. Okay, so get add. Uh, we add it to the staging area. You get add dot, and then you can commit. Okay. Since we had used revert, you don't have to enter a message. This window will come on its own. This will show you the revert message. Okay. This window, don't freak out when this happens. It's nothing but telling you that the revert added styles to H1 is the message that it will be storing the commit with. Okay. So how do you exit this page? You can use Shift colon and WQ. All right. So it will just exit, and you'll be able to go back to your command statement. All right. So now, if you want to view the comments that you made till now, okay, so get log in one line. You'll be able to see that a new comment has been added that is called revert added styles to H1. Okay. So now we can see how reset works. All right. So git reset. So if you remember, I told you that git reset, when you do this, you cannot go back. All right. Once you've reset the program, that is it. You cannot see or view the changes that you made later. Right. So in this case, I have taken the commit added styles. Okay. So when I reset to that, you will be able to see that I've added the index file and the styles file. All right. But you will not be able to see the changes that I had made to titles or added the tags or the styles that I had added to the tags. Okay, so all of that will not exist and the code will completely be cleared. Okay? So when I do that, then I just use the command git reset and I put the code, the command ID, the commit ID. It doesn't do anything. Okay, all right. So I will use hyphen hyphen hard. Okay, so when I do that, when I use the keyword hard, it clears the it does the reset. Okay, so you can see on the left hand side, the H1 and H2 tag have disappeared and the title has changed back to document. Okay, and even the styles file doesn't have the styles that were added to H1 and H2 tag. Okay, so now that you've understood how checkout, revert, and reset work, we will now dive into branches. Okay, so here I'm creating a branch using the command branch and the branch name. Okay, so I've added the branch name feature A. So git branch hyphen A is used to list out all the branches, and you can even view the current branch you are at. Okay? So presently we are in the master branch and we have created a feature A branch. All right. So now if you want to enter the feature A branch, you can check out to feature A. Okay, so feature is the name that I've given to my branch. You can name it whatever you like. All right. So now if you get branch hyphen A, you'll be able to see the list. And now you can see the highlighted area that is feature A. Okay. So that means right now you're presently on the feature A branch. So now there's an easier way to create a branch and also enter it at the same time. Okay, so to switch to the new branch that you've made. So for that, we can use git checkout hyphen B and then branch name that you want. Okay, so I'm adding the branch name feature B. Okay, so you can see the message switch to a new branch feature B. Okay, so this created the new branch and it also switched to that branch. So whatever changes that you'll be making to your code now will all be happening from the feature B branch. All right. So now we'll just make a few changes to the code. All right. So over here, I'm just going to add some more styles to the body. Okay. So I'm adding text. I'm going to text align it to center and add the font style italic. All right. So now that I've made some changes, these changes were made from the feature B branch. Okay. So now we can see the status. It has not been added to the staging area. So you can do git add and then git commit. Right? So I'll just add the commit message saying added styles to body. Okay. So now, remember this commit that I've made is from my feature B branch. Right? Changes that I made were from my feature B branch. So none of these changes that I made right now will reflect when you check out to the master branch. So now if I check out to master branch, you can see that the changes that I made have vanished. Okay. So now how do we combine the feature B branch that we've made and our master branch? So we can use command commit merge. Okay. And type the branch name, that is feature B. Okay. So this will merge the branch with the master branch. All right. So now you can see that the changes that I made in my feature B branch have been added to the master branch. Okay. So now let's see. Let's make some more changes from the feature A branch. Okay. Before that, since we are done using feature B branch, we can delete the branch using the command git branch hyphen D and the branch name. Okay. So that will delete the feature B branch. Okay. So now if I git checkout to my feature A, you see the changes that I made and I merged with feature B are not reflected here. Okay. So I will just make changes according to my preference. So it's almost like another user is using this, right? So let's say feature A, okay? And there were some changes that were made to feature to the main branch, which I'm not aware of. So I just go ahead using my feature A branch. I make some changes. Let's say I added margin, okay? Now this will contradict the changes that we had already made in our master branch, okay? So when you commit this file, this commit is done through feature A branch, all right? So now when we let's see the messages margin added. Okay. So now if we get checkout to the master branch, okay, you can see that the changes are done over here. But when you try to merge the two files, okay, because of the contradicting nature, it will result in a conflict. Okay, so when I do git merge feature A, it results in a conflict. Now, even though our systems are super smart, but there are some things that need to be checked manually. Okay, so this conflict that has arisen has to be solved manually. We can say if we are fine with merging a margin with our already changed code in the master branch. Okay, so we can keep the text align, we can keep the font style, and we want to add a margin to that. Okay, or if you don't want to, you can remove that. All right. So this decision needs to be made by the user itself. Okay. So we'll manually resolve this conflict. All right. So we'll just remove the messages and we'll put the margin in our code. Okay. After we have accepted that, we can add this staging area. We can get commit. Okay. So this will again show you the merge feature A. Okay. So now that has been done and your changes have been made and you've learned how to merge. Okay. So now you know how to use git commit. Okay. And you know how to check out commit, revert commit, reset commit. And recently you even learned how the other features work. Okay. You know how branches work and you know how to merge branch. So now let's see if in case I want to push this to my GitHub. Okay. So I have a GitHub account that is already ready and I have a repository. Okay. Now for this folder that I've made, I'll be creating a new repository. Okay. So you can come here. You'll see the keyword, the new button in green. So you click on new, add the repository name. Okay. So let's say git trial. Then you have a few options. You can skip them, or if you want, you can add a README file. I'm just adding that. It's not compulsory. It's just your preference. All right. So you can see this repository that I've made in my main branch. So this I'm presently on my main branch. Okay, you can see there is a README file. Okay. Now that that's done, you can go to this green button code. You can copy the URL to your clipboard. All right, and then you can go to the command line interface again. Now we're going to clone this. We're going to push this to the repository. So git status, you can see that our we have no commits remaining. And now we're going to push this these files that we had made to the newly created repository. So we use git and you enter the URL. Okay. So you do git push and I've pasted the URL over here, right? And this I'll be adding to the master branch. That's why I'm using git push, the URL and master. Okay. So it will give you this if you haven't logged into GitHub. Okay, so just enter the details, and once you have logged in, it will push the files to the master branch. Okay. So right now I'm on my main branch, but before that, let me just show you one more thing. Okay. So here we were using the URL, right? So if you don't want to type, like you have to push multiple times and you don't want to type the URL over and over again. Okay. So we can use git add git remote add origin. Okay, what this does is it creates origin as an alias. So every time you want to use the URL, instead of using that, you can just replace it with origin. Okay, when you use git remote -v, it will show you that your origin is that URL for fetching and for pushing. Okay. So now coming back to the GitHub profile, you can see when I go to my master branch, I refresh it, you can see that the changes that I had made have been added. So now, let's see how cloning and creating a pull request works. All right. So now I have a clone trial repository that has been created in my hub. Okay. So now I want to clone this and I want to make changes. Okay. So I'll go here, open the repository, take the code, take the URL, and use the command git clone. Okay. Use git clone and paste the URL over there. Okay. So it will clone the clone trial repository to your system. Okay. So now that the clone trial repository has been cloned, okay. So now you will enter that folder. Okay. So you use cd clone trial, and now it has been added to your system. So you can go and you can see clone trial. Okay. Open that on your IDE, and you'll see the index file that was already there. So now I can make modifications to that. Okay. But before that, see, if in case you're working in a company, all right, and there are multiple people and there are possibilities that they would have made changes and they would have pushed it to the remote repository too, right? They could have added some other changes and they would have pushed it to the GitHub repository that you have right now. So what git pull does is if in case there have been any changes that were made, it will use that. It will give you all the changes in your local file. Okay, so over here you can see when I do git pull, okay, origin is the alias. We are pulling it from the main file, main branch. So you can see already up to date. All right. So now we'll go ahead and git checkout to our branch. Okay, I'm creating a new branch called feature. You know how branches work now, right? So why we're doing this is because you're working in a company, and let's imagine that there are multiple people who are making changes, right? And the boss will see your codes and will choose the best among that. Because if you make one and directly add it to the master branch, and if the other people are not pleased with it, it will cause trouble. So it's always better to create a feature branch, and then you can create a pull request on that. If they like it, then they can merge it with the master branch, right? So I'll make some changes. Let's say this is a basic hello world program, and I'll just add a h2 tag saying I like coding. All right. So now that I've made changes, we'll commit the file, git add, and then git commit. Okay. Message. This is just added h2 tag. Okay. And now, since we've made the changes, we can push this file back to our repository on GitHub. Okay. So git push origin, like I explained before, origin is our alias, so you don't have to type the URL all over again. And which file are we pushing? Using the feature branch. Okay. So we do git push origin feature. Okay. So this. So now if we go back to our GitHub, we can see over here a pull request. We can create a pull request. All right. So you can see this. This is the initial code, just hello world. All right. So when we go back to our clone trial, you can see compare and pull request. Okay. So here you can see it is in green. You'll be able to see here able to merge. Okay, so there are no conflicts that are arising. Okay, just you can add any comment, and then here you can create a pull request. Okay. So now others can view this if they and they can see the code. If they are pleased with it, they can merge it with the master branch. All right. Creating a pull request is very essential in GitHub, so you should understand this really well. Okay. So after that, they can confirm the merge if they are pleased with the code that you've written. Okay. So that has been added, and the changes have been made, and it has been added to our main branch. All right. So now you can see the updated code that we have. So initially there was just an h1 tag saying hello world. Now I've added the h2 tag. I like coding. Right. So now that you understand how to create pull requests, we will go ahead and we learn how to fork. Okay. So let's say that you sorry. Okay, see, there are going to be multiple developers on GitHub, right? And you look at someone else's code and you go like, wow, that code is really nice, but I think I can modify that. Okay, so let's just say one of the followers that I have is, so I go to my following and it's Kakashi. Okay, and I go and I see the repository test repo 1. Okay, I see the code and I'm like, the code is nice. I think I can modify it and make it better, right? So I cannot make changes directly to another user, to another developer's file. Okay, so I need to fork it to my own repository, to my own profile, and then I can make the changes. So you click on fork. It will just take a few seconds, and your file has been forked. And this will open up in your own file. All right. So now is now you can clone it. Okay. And all of these changes that you'll be making will be done to your repository, okay, not to someone else's. Okay. So then you can clone the website. Okay. Enter after you've cloned it, enter the folder. The folder was named test repo 1. Okay. So we'll open it in our IDE. Right. Open it and we'll make some modifications. Okay. Again, it's just a hello world code. And I think I can make it better. I like coding, very basic stuff. Okay. And then you can commit the file. All right. Add it to the staging area, then committed the file, improved code. Okay. So now after making the changes, then git push. Okay. See over here, you'll be able to see this is on the main branch. Okay. So this time when we use our push command, okay, we use git push and origin main. All right. So now do you press enter, it will push it to our GitHub main branch. Right. So now you can see over here, this is the main branch, right? So here, just a second, you can refresh the page and the index.html file, the improved code has been updated. All right. So you can see my h3 tag over here. All right. So these changes that were made on my repository, right? The forked repository. Now let's say I like the changes that I made, and now I want to suggest these changes to the initial owner of the code. Okay. So I had borrowed it from Kakashi, and now I want to suggest Kakashi and be like, hey, I made some updates and changes. Why don't you check these out? And if in case you like it, you can add it to your original code. All right. I will create a pull request. Okay. Add the subject. You can leave a comment. You can tell what changes you made. All right. And then a pull request has been created. Okay. So you can close the pull request anytime you want, but you have no control over whether the owner of the code wants to merge it with their branch or not. Okay. So all this was happening on my thing till now. Okay. My repository on my GitHub profile. So now let's say owner of the actual code. Okay. Let's say Kakashi is here and he is looking at his profile. Okay. And he sees this was his code, okay, initially in the test repo one. And now he sees that there's a pull request, okay. So let's say, okay, you see the pull request, approved code, okay, and he can view the code. Okay? If he likes it, he has the control to actually merge the code. Okay? Merge pull request, confirm pull request, and merge the files. Okay, and he can leave a comment. Okay, so now you can create a pull request and the owner of the actual code and merge the code that you have improved to their own code. All right, that is how forking works. Okay? So that's it for today. You know how to create pull requests, you know how to push the files, and you know how to fork. Okay, so hope you all understood and had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, Komal. That was really a very good presentation right now. Thank you so much. And now it's time to like call upon a guest speaker. One sec, I'll check it. Okay, so this is our guest. So he's a tech savvy, enthusiastic person getting his hands dirty with open source and firmware. So he's very passionate to learn development for new technologies. He's Vivek Kumar. So he's currently a software engineer, and he has a very good experience on attending many open source challenges. Like he has attended Google Summer of Codes, the GSOC, okay, and then he has many project proposals. So, and one of his project reports is Doctor. So that's an AI based medical assistant, and he has used Kotlin, XML, Google Firebase, and Android. And he has more project abstracts like Amazon Alexa assistant skill mini voice game. So he has used Node.js and Dynamo DB as his tech stacks. So he has many achievements. So a few of them are he's awarded Star of Excellence 2019 Computer Science and Engineering BE Satyabhama University, and he's awarded the Best Project Innovation 2019 Computer Science and Engineering BE Satyabhama Technology. University. So he is a lead influencer at Google Crowdsource community. So we actually we are great that he's been attending, and he speaks for this current session. So it's all to you, sir, Vivek, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I don't know the name, so it's DSC. Okay. Hi everyone, and I was very thrilled, and it's really amazing to see a good presentation from Komal. And I have one name, Safu, who was making the session very interactive in the chat.
Yeah, that is like seriously. He was very interactive, and I thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm actually a full stack developer. That's why I did.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So you're from which company, Safu?
I run my own startup and I build apps for other companies. I've been doing that for like 5 years.
Oh wow.
That's great to have you, Saifu. Thank you so much for joining.
All right. Yeah, glad to be here.
So
Cool.
he was making the session very interactive, and I was like going through all his chat, and I was impressed. Okay. So, yep. So let's start. So I feel like in today's session, we all are going to have a lot of technical things, and I don't want to pull you guys into technical, but I just wanted to share like small experience of my life and what all things I do, what I am, and I don't know why I'm here. So the thing is that, okay, so let's start. So to know about me, you can go to fastboy.com. This is my website. You can know about me, although it is not updated from long time. Okay. In fact, you can go to this and find some sublinks, and you can go to sublinks and you can just learn about it. Okay. So I'll try to find out some time and update it. Right. A few case points that I'll share with you is like I'm leading crowdsource community as an influencer since 2016, and I've created. Uh, I came here from a small community participant to representative to influencer. Now I'm influencing over the all over India and uh, trying to bring people into crowdsource community. Okay. Uh, that's what a community job is. Okay, but apart from that, I have done Google Summer of Code 2019, step 2 open source past. Okay, then I have done open source initiative like new courses. Then I have been at HP since 1 year, and I'm their software engineer firmware at AI initiatives. So our team just works on how to improve 3D printings and medium small industries 3D printing, like printing shoes, printing bottles. And apart from that, we are mainly working in space tech, where we are trying to print space materials and the materials that can resist different pressure, temperature, and vacuum. Okay, that is some plus point, and I can't share a lot more information about HP work, but I would share my experience with open source like Spast and open source initiative new courses. Okay, so I'll try to tell you a little bit about Spast and how I started. So back in 2019, when I was doing my Google Summer of Code, I have started with Fossology. So basically, it's a license compilance tool, and there I came to learn a lot about how open source can collaborate with the different open source platforms and make better free softwares, right? So I don't know, like how many of you know about open source, but for me, open source is just a way of enhancing myself. Okay, just a way of learning. Okay, and I won't be going that much deep into technical, because technical needs a lot of time, and I have a slot of like 30 minutes, and I have another meeting to attend. So I'll just tell you a crisp information. Then how can you start with learning and developing things? So first thing is, get started with open source. Why? Because the software is free. Nobody is going to stop you to contribute. Okay, and there are a lot of opportunities which are not exposed to students community. When we were student, like when we were in first year, second year, third year, I was not aware of open source, and that is the problem, where we were not so upskilled. Okay, now today I see like Komal, she was telling about GitHub. So I don't know, like she is in second year, right? So for a
Yes,
second year,
I'm second year presently.
okay, so for a second year student, it's like it's pretty good to have a GitHub skill, okay? Because I have learned it in my fourth year, and I have learned it from Fossology. Okay, so I never used a GitHub before that, and what I feel like is that nowadays, since students are going more and more into open source and more into learning, okay, it's good to understand things and learn things, okay, and take initiatives, okay. So Fossology was the place where I started from, and although I had been there with crowdsource from a longer time, okay. So then I came up with an initiative of Clearly Defined. Okay, so Clearly Defined is a product of Microsoft. So it's an open source initiative which was acquired by Microsoft. And Fossology is acquired by Siemens. And what I have done is that I have presented an agent that's Spast, and which is collaborating among Clearly Defined and Fossology. Way beyond my Google Summer of Code project, which was only limited to Spast, I have taken Spast, Fossology, and Clearly Defined way a little bit more ahead. Okay, with my integrations and with my help. Okay, and it's not about helping at Fossology or Clearly Defined. It's more about helping myself. So I have taught myself a lot of things and during this stage, and that's it. So that's about Spust, and you can take a look at Spust agent into Fossology GitHub. Okay, so if you do Fossology, you will get it. Then there's an open source initiative that I've taken in 2020, which is upon a Scrum initiative. So I don't know how many of you are aware about Agile, but if you talk about Agile, you talk about GitHub, and that's where New CoSS is. So New CoSS is designed to, it's basically a Scrum tool that helps you manage the activity, okay, Scrum activity and Scrum Poker activities. So the tools like Jira and Agile tools, okay, mainly Agile tools. So whatever tools that we use is like most of the time it's paid, or most of the time it's not free. And these tools can be bought to open source community with the help of students, not only with the help of students, but with anyone, because it's open source, so anyone can contribute to it and can continue on that. Okay. So this is about new courses. So I feel like you know a lot about me now, and if you have any questions, if you want to ask anything, you can ask it. Okay, so you have any question, or shall I go ahead? Anyone? Okay, I'll just take it in the chat. Okay, so for example, Scrum tools, I recommend to students to use Trello, Asana, paid ones like Jira, as he mentioned, are paid, so I wouldn't recommend those tools. So yeah, definitely, we should not go ahead with Jira, but in fact, like many organizations are using Jira, and we don't have any replica of Jira, and the tools that you're telling is up to a little bit up to a mark, and that is free. So I would recommend that too. So. Any other question or any other discussion that you want to be in? Okay.
So currently, I request Cypher to address the thing. So could you just speak up for 5 to 10 minutes again, Cypher?
What would you like to know?
Like your field of interest, and the way you come up with open source, and about your startups mainly.
Okay, so I've been working with open source since college, actually. In fact, I used to contribute more to open source during college than right now. If I go to my Git history, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
The way you contribute, it depends on your area of interest. I usually look at the programming languages which I work with, and I use GitHub search. So GitHub has a search tool, and you can basically click advanced search, and you can search for specific repositories which are looking for contributors. And that's how I usually contribute if there is an event like Hacktober. But otherwise, the original way I contribute personally is like whenever I build a product for my clients, I usually use libraries which happen to be open source. And those libraries might have bugs or features which I need personally, right? So for that particular project. So usually what I do is I first make an issue saying that this feature doesn't exist. And if I don't get a response quickly, then I just fork it and I build the feature, and then I completely make a pull request to that repository. The thing about that is those owners of those repositories won't immediately incorporate those changes. Usually it takes time unless they are very active with the repository. Most repositories are not well maintained. They take time for it to be merged, which is why a lot of people are suffering with Hacktoberfest, because like they make PRs and then it doesn't get closed at all. And the goal is to win the prizes, right? So even last year I attended I think the last 2 years I've attended Hacktoberfest. Usually I don't I don't like work towards a t-shirt. I usually just work towards making as many pull requests just for the sake of it. And even if you make one single PR, the DigitalOcean does send you some goodies. I think I got some stickers and all that, like those kind of stuff. So, but if you want a t-shirt, then you'll have to make 4 pull requests. And there are like so many guides on how you can find really good repositories to make pull requests. Maybe if we have like a session one day, I'll show you a kind of like a best way to like get find out good repositories. So there are something called label in GitHub, and the search field allows you to search by label. So I would recommend you to search for Hacktober, Hacktoberfest, as well as Good First Issue. It's called Good First Issue. So if you search for those, you'll be able to find good things. And then there's also a language tag. If you add the language tag, you'll be able to find repositories specifically for the languages which you work on, whether it's Python or JavaScript or whatever. And so this is how you can make good pull requests. And this is pretty much how I work with my startup. This is pretty much me. I'm like really happy that students are taking this initiative to get into open source during college. So Vivek was saying he got in 4th year, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, back in the day when I was in college, this was 2010 to 14. Like I started a club in my college, and we pushed open source a lot. I think around my 2nd year, and a lot of people got into it very early on, and that's a good thing. As you mentioned in the beginning of the talk, open source is free, so you won't get money out of it. But on the contrary, the fact that I've contributed so much to open source is the reason I've got so many clients, because I'm a startup. I run it mostly by myself. Occasionally, I outsource work to designers, friends of mine who do design for contracts. And the way I work is on a referral basis. So because I contributed a lot to open source, a lot of developers have got to me, or a lot of clients actually have got to me saying, we liked your work, we like the way you code also. So whenever you put something in open source, it gives you a coding style. It gives you like how you want to contribute to the community, and the way you design it, like whether you use data structures or whatever. So all that people will be able to see. So both companies as well as clients will be very interested in you. So there are actually benefits to contributing to open source, and I would recommend everyone to do it. It's a really good thing to do. So I really applaud you guys to have this Oxford College Bangalore, right? So yeah, I applaud you for conducting this, and I really enjoy the session because I always like going back to the basics and going through. It doesn't matter even if it's once, twice, thrice. I just keep going. That's why I joined it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cypher. Like, it was really very informative. And yeah, folks, like, if you have any doubts to be asked with Vivek, so you could go on.
Okay. So now, shall we continue with one small topic? Okay.
Sure. That's fine. You're good.
So I found that my session was not going to be way technical because it's not a big slot. So I will try to spread some light over the project development and what the students community are missing sometimes. Okay. So where we are lagging in terms of my experience, what I have felt. Okay. So let's learn this. Okay. And even if it's not technical, but it's more informative and it's more general, right? So first one comes with a planning. Okay. So you got to have a very good planning whenever you are working with a project. Okay. You might have some bugs which you can change the design upon, and you can try to make it better. Okay. The design must be very depth. Okay. So it should not be only the outer part, but it should be the inner inside also, and everything that's very detailed. Okay. So how your code is flowing, how classes and objects are implemented, and how functions are used, how you're categorizing your backend code and front-end code. Okay. How backend is communicating with front-end, and how the data is being written in database, and what are the scenarios in which you are going to write. So it should be detailed, but there will be little bit bugs that we can solve in the end. Okay. So, and based on planning, most of the time, whatever you think is going to be rejected, right? And that's what is needed, right? you can't work on like multiple projects, but just to learn, you can pick up one project which is much more feasible and which is much more showing much more confident to you that you can do this. Okay, it's not about working with AI and working with ML every time, but sometimes it's good to work with small projects, okay, like working on a website and at least completing that with a good coding skills, right? So now the problem of getting rejection can be solved by this solution, that is research. Okay, so whatever you're thinking, whatever your plan is, do research. Okay, do a depth research that what is the feasibility, okay, what are the resources available for me to work on. If it is like AI, what are the resources available to me? Okay, I won't push for AI, but if it is, let's say, an Android application or iOS application, what is the solution? What are the research says? Okay, do I have the enough resources? What are all things are needed? Cloud is needed. Shall I go from SQL database to NoSQL database? And how shall I? Which NoSQL database shall I use? Shall I use Azure or shall I use DynamoDB? Shall I use Firebase, Cloud Firestore, or anyone else? Okay, like MongoDB. Okay, if we are going with SQL, like what should we do? What is our process? Everything. Okay. And now you'll say, come on, we know this. Now let us now tell us about project development, right? So let's come. Okay. First thing is the fragmentation. Okay. Your each work like building an UI, building your backend APIs, building handling database, handling structure into the database, doing the design work for the website, doing content work for the website. Everything must be separate. Okay, it's having a stage. Okay, defragmentation is very important. If your project is not defragmented, it will be much less feasible, because then you don't know at what instance you are going to implement what. Okay, then let's come back and let's build a project. Okay, what is a project that we want? Okay, so this is the first point, right? What is the project that we want? Second point is research. Third point is resources like technology, data requirements. Okay. 4 point is feasibility. 5th point is learning. 6th point is designing, like designing the UI, designing the architecture. Okay. So these two things are very different things. Architecture is something which is way more into code, which is way more into like sequence diagram, object diagrams, class diagrams, right? UI is something like the UI that you see, right? Then you have design iterations. Design iterations says us like fix your designs, okay, like fix your architecture. There might be some bugs, okay. You might understand some edge scenarios. You might understand some scenarios in which your application is not going to work. Then you have development, right? Final stage is development, right? Now, what is project? That's what our first point is, right? What is the project that we want to do? A project can be anything. Second year student or third year student or fourth year student, okay? You guys are like having a wider range of view, okay? And most important, we nowadays, since AI and ML is going very, very fast, right? We want to learn those things and we want to implement those things. But it's not important that you do AI and ML always. Okay, you can do IoT. You can have project on websites. You can have projects on some tools, like a tool like what do you say, like web tools. Okay, like new courses. You can have some Android application. That's feasible, right? And to be very clear, AI and ML is not always a solution. So please try to limit yourself to the basics. Okay, first learn the basics, then go towards the forward to the next step. Okay, and that's what is project. Then we have research. Now this research is what I've already talked about, like research into what are the resources that is available, whether this is available or not, what are the papers that are available for this project. Okay, there is IEEE paper or anything else, right? Okay, with research there comes a technology. So what is the technology that you're going to use? We have cloud, we have UI technologies, we have targeted devices, okay, and we have diversity in all. Okay, our project must be very straight and very clear with all the diversity. Okay, what we are going to use in cloud, either it's AWS or Google Cloud Services or Firebase or your Microsoft Azure or some third-party companies. Okay, more companies. Okay, I'm just talking about the popular one. Okay, so there is a diversity in cloud, and we need to understand that being a student, which one is helping us more. Let's say Amazon is giving us like 21,000 rupees for starting a new cloud service account. Okay, but it might be possible that Google is providing us $300 right in Google Cloud Services. But at most of the scenario, Firebase is completely free, and most of the time, like in the lower level of package, it's totally free. Okay, and up to some limit, it's totally free. Okay, it's not about money there. So I would recommend using Firebase and AWS sometimes. Okay, then there's a diversity in technology, UI technology. What diversity I'm talking about? So currently we have a very big diversity, huge diversity. First, we have React, Angular. Okay, what are these? These are frameworks. These are UI frameworks, UI building tools. Okay, then you can do it in like Android and other devices. Also, you can use Dart as a UI, good UI language. Okay, you can use for website other things like Ajax, JavaScript. Okay, you can have you have a diversity in UI technology. That's what I mean. Okay, select what you want to use. You want to go with React, you go with React. You want to go with Angular, you go with Angular. Okay, okay. So in even in different devices, we have a diversity. We have laptops, we have MacBooks, we have Windows, we have Linux. Then we have cell phones, we have Android cell phones, we have iOS cell phone. Target your device. That's very important for any project. Your device must be targeted, your UI technology must be targeted, your cloud service must be targeted. Okay, if we'll talk about device targeting, okay, and we talk about like multi-building platforms that are going on, right? So we have Flutter. So Flutter is used to code write code once and have it built for Android as well as iOS, and even in future you might be getting it like for a web tool. But our problem is that it's not only Flutter. You have something like Iconic, okay, and then you have something like called Conrad. I don't know, like some tools are there. Okay, Conrad, just search over it. Okay, and there also we have a huge diversity in UI technology. So just fix your UI tool, that framework that you're going to use, and technology that you're going to use. Okay. Now let's go towards the learning. Okay, so first of all, always learn the trend. So the trend is AI and ML. Okay, we want to learn the trend, but it's not only the trend. Okay, Angular is a trend. Okay, React is a trend nowadays. Flutter is a trend nowadays. Kotlin is a trend nowadays. Okay, learn the trend. Okay, but the basic ones first. Second, I would always recommend going with Firebase or AWS. Okay. Third, you can try going with cloud. Okay. You can also start with Android, like in Flutter and Kotlin. That's what I would recommend. Okay. If you are a good JavaScript developer or Python developer, you can go ahead with Kotlin or Flutter. Okay. Because Flutter uses Dart and it's like way flexible. Okay. Now we have in sixth, like iOS. So don't forget that although in India we have less iOS users, but all over the world it's having a huge impact. So don't forget about iOS. Okay, it's not only about Google; it's also about other tech companies. Okay, and technologies everywhere. Then in web we have Angular or React. Figure out what you want to learn. And eighth point is very important: learn how to make an API, because in future you are not going to make your code so complex, your UI code so complex that it is handling all the backend services. your backend must have some APIs which is exposed to your client application, okay, who is connecting with the database. And this picture shows us a good idea about like what is an API. Okay, so I'll just go, yeah. So if you are seeing this, you will understand the importance of having APIs, okay. Always and always have an API, okay, because these APIs are not going to be used only by you, but it can be used by anyone in the world, okay, if it is hosted in the cloud. Okay, so for AWS, you have AWS Lambda, and for Firebase, you have Firebase functions. Okay, even in Google Cloud platforms, you have cloud functions. Okay, so similar things. Whatever you will find in Firebase, you will find in Google Cloud. In fact, you should use Firebase rather than using Google Cloud because it's all the way connected and all the payment system and everything is connected. Okay, then designing vital steps. So build the UI and work on UX. Remember, build the UI and work on UX. Okay, UI says what is the user interface. UX says what is the user experience that they're getting from the interface, right? Then we have Adobe XD and other tools in which you can design your UI and you can learn, you can figure out like if this is good and if this is not good. Okay, so don't just jump into the application building because then you don't have a design and you don't know what to do. Even for websites, you can come to Adobe XD and you can have your website design ready. Okay, then it's pretty easy to code. Okay. And product architecture, follow OOAD. So you guys know about OOAD? Anyone who can unmute himself? OOAD. Have you ever heard of this? Do we have any audience? Oh, guys from second year, third year.
I don't think students would have learned OOAD or agile architectures in college or anything.
No, no. Actually, I have learned in college. We had a subject OOAD, object-oriented analysis.
Analysis and design. Yeah, cool. That's nice, man.
Because that is very important. Yeah, people are telling that there is a subject and
Okay.
it's very important to have these skills, okay, because then you can build a good architecture for your application. You can have a good design, that general design that can be followed throughout your application. Okay, sequence diagram, the class diagram, and etc. Okay, then we have okay. So if you guys don't have an idea, just when your class is going on for OAD, just take it seriously because many people don't take it seriously and then they don't know how to design an architecture. Then this design iteration. Okay, so what do we have in design iteration? What does your user research says? Okay, so there's a difference between your research and user research. Okay, user research is something where you put some trackers over a button and which is being used very frequently. So let's say the setting button, okay, which is being used frequently. And now that setting button is placed inside the user profile. When you will click it, then you'll go down and click on settings. Okay, if that button is clicked very frequently, why don't you place that button directly on the UI, right? That will make your UI cut down one step from the user to go there, right? And this is very important. Always have a user research data and try to improve your application. Okay, then security, privacy, and terms. Please always follow them. Okay, if you are a student, just don't follow them. No worries. Okay, then we have development, easy and crisp. Use version control systems like GitHub, and I will just tell this that follow the GitHub, but there are other tools like GitLab, which is providing way more features than GitHub. Okay, so I don't know how many of you knows about GitLab and using GitLab features. Okay, so recently I was working on Fossology, and what I saw that rather than compiling it in compiling the whole code base into my machine, GitLab is even providing a feature to edit the code there itself and compile the code there itself over a Docker. Okay, so that is a very good feature which tells that we don't need to worry if the code base is like 20 GB or 40 GB. Don't worry about it. They are handling it all over the internet. Okay, So try to figure out like what all good things you are using. Okay, so always use version control system. I won't focus only over GitHub. Okay. Now please publish your application, because if you won't publish your application, you won't know how much it is liked, where should I improve, what do I need to learn. Okay, you will learn from your experience. Okay, then learning resources, best place, documents. Okay, no videos, nothing, documents. I would recommend documents. Every tool is nowadays having document. Even Firebase, Angular, React, everyone is having document. Flutter is having document. Everyone is having documents. Go and do learn from the documents. That's the best place you can learn from, and don't pay anywhere. Okay. How to boost up my skill? Start doing open source. That's very important, because nobody is stopping you to do that. And if you, it's different from internship. With internship you need to apply, you need to get selected, and then you will learn. Okay, but with open source you don't have any of the selection criteria. Okay, if you want to contribute, start contributing with small bugs or small features, and slowly grab on to the next level. Okay, one thing that I'll tell you always is that a leader never says that I'm a leader. He's a person whose leads are always followed. Okay, so it's people who are going to tell whether you are a leader or not. People will follow you. Okay, you will not tell the leaders that you people that I'm a leader. Okay, I know things. Okay, your skills will be seen by other people, and they will start following your leads. Okay. To connect with me, all my social media handles, VIV9K. Okay, it's of course reverse of E. Okay. Then this is my contact number. Email me here. Email me here. Oh, I have not given my office email. Please don't mail me there. Okay. Then you have fastboy.com. You can visit there. I'll try to update this website if I'll get some time. Okay. So anyone is having any question about my previous slides or presentation, you guys can ask me any question, any doubts in your mind, anything. Okay. Anyone?
Okay, so do we have any question for Vivek right now? Anyone could speak up. Okay, so I think people are very convinced with your presentation, Vivek. We are like, thank you so much.
Okay, so it's really wonderful to see so many people connecting and learning things, but it's always good that you guys start connecting, and please feel free to connect with me. If anyone is having any question, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you all. Okay. And I just missed out one thing. I'm sorry, but I just missed out an initiative from New Courses. Okay. So this is the project. Okay. And if you will go to New Courses. Okay. Okay, so we have recently launched an internship over the New Courses tool, and the internship is always focused upon students, and students can learn things. Okay, so if you want to get a kickstart on open source or on your learning, you can apply it here. Okay, just go through this. I don't want to involve this project into my presentation way into that much of depth. Okay, but you can go through the issues. Okay, take a look at the issues. Okay, here we have a tag of good first issue and good first issue. So just take a look at these. You have a tag of UI. That means these are some UI changes. Okay, here we have some tags like feature, then documentation, etc. Okay, so just see the labels that is useful to you. Go through the project, what all projects we are into. Okay, and if you like anyone, and if you want to get started with open source, please apply. Okay, and if you face any problem, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you. Okay, so thank you everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek. That was seriously a very good presentation. And Okay, now for our judge, we have the HOD of the Oxford College of Engineering, who is with us in this meeting, Kanagavali ma'am. So I thank you for being the judge for today's event, ma'am. Thank you so much. And for now, moving on for the quiz, we'll have our team handling the quiz for this session. So can I have Manisha and Leander in?
Yeah, Manoj, we are there. Manisha will just send you the code. Everyone
Okay.
can open Slido
Yeah. Uh, could you just share the Slido
link.
link
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here in
One
the
sec.
chat box?
One
Thank
sec.
you. Yeah, guys. So we have our Slido link, and I'll be sharing the codes over here. Just a few sec. Yeah, Manisha, can you share the screen?
Maybe Vivek and me should just stay put for this quiz.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like
Thank
the
you.
students. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, sorry for the delay. It's like, oh, yeah, it's up.
No,
So,
Manisha is having some technical issues. She's not able to talk. Her voice is
okay.
not getting through. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Then, yeah, Leander is going to handle, I guess, then. Or should I have to continue?
You just have to go and take the quiz. Like,
Okay.
enter
So,
the code
uh-huh.
and then you can start with the quiz.
Sure, guys. So, take up with the quiz. So, I see that no one has joined the quizzes yet. So, guys, could you please join? No, it's not getting loaded yet. I'm sorry for the technical issues, but yeah. Okay, till then, we'll have Chetana to speak about today's, this is a bit towards the, uh, like, a girl side. So today we have a girls' day today, I guess. So let's have Chetana to speak a few words about this. So Chetana, are you in?
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk today. So, hello, everyone. As I'm here today to talk about the significance of the day. 11th of October is observed as the International Day of the Girl Child. So, as in of 2020, we commemorate 25 years since the adoption of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. So this Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action is actually the most progressive blueprint that was ever made for advancing the rights of not only women but also girls. So all these, this whole International Day of the Girl Child started off in 1995 at the World Conference on Women in Beijing, where countries unanimously adopted the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. So, it's very odd that we always hear about women's rights, but it's very rare when we come across the phrase girls' rights. But I personally think that girls' rights is as important as women's, because don't you all agree with me that if for a woman to be successful, she first has to be a strong girl. So the Beijing Declaration is the first to specifically call out on girls' rights, including women's rights altogether. Oh, I'm sorry, I had a little bit of technical issues. So yes, so getting back on the topic. On December 19, 2011, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the resolution of 66 by 170, which declares October 11th, that is today, as the International Day of Girl Child, which recognizes girls' rights and the unique challenges that girls face all around the world. So as an adolescent girl, worldwide asserts their power as change makers. So, we have come across many girls, may it be Malala, or may it be the latest, blooming actress, Millie Bobby Brown. So all these are girls who have spoken out for themselves, and they are the change makers as of now. So the International Day of the Girl 2020 will focus on 3 demands as of this year. So the demands are live free from gender-based violence, harmful practices, and education. That's the first one. The second one is learn new skills towards the future they choose. And the third one is lead as a generation of activists accelerating social change. So, empowering women and girls and promoting gender equality is very crucial to accelerating the sustainable development. So ending all forms of discrimination that is ever posed on girls and women in general is not only a basic human right, but it also has a bigger effect across all the other development areas. So, young girls, the adolescent girls have the rights to be safe. They have the rights to be educated, and they also have the right to have a healthy life. Not only during these critical formative years, but also, as they mature and grow to be a woman. If effectively supported during the adolescent years, girls have the potential to change the world. Like I said earlier, in order to be a successful woman, she first has to be a successful girl. And then, later on, she can go around to be tomorrow's workers. They can be mothers, entrepreneurs, mentors, household heads, and even political leaders. An investment in realizing the power of adolescent girls uphold their rights today and promises a more equitable and prosperous future, one in which half of humanity is an equal partner in solving the problems of climate change, political conflict, economic growth, disease prevention, and even global sustainability. So, there are girls all around the world. They are present in the most conflicted regions of the world, where they have been going through the harshest, the most deadliest of situations. But even then, they have come out from all those marginalized communities and they have broken barriers. So there are many ways that we can support girls here. So, in order to support the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, each and achieving gender equality and women empowerment is a very integral part of it. So, before I conclude, let us all promise that we shall give all the support we can to all the girls out there so that one day, even one of those girls can actually grow up to be a wonderful woman who can change the world with her ideologies. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chetna. That was a good speech. So now for the technical issues in the like as we mentioned, but actually that wasn't the technical issue. So the main thing is you guys have to join in using that Slido. Like everyone has to register into it, and once the quiz is started, you can't log in afterwards. So they said that they are waiting for everyone to join. So like everyone join as soon as possible. Okay. So yeah, we have Purnachandra Kashi to explain about the repo and the way he has to like we have to push the repositories into it. So Purna, you can take up.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Purna Chandra Kashi, currently the DSC lead for the Oxford College of Engineering, Bangalore. Thanks for all for coming for this Hacktober Fest and taking part, like contributing towards open source development. And yeah, it's my pleasure to organize this. And I never expected that so many people would come up. And yeah, so now I would like to show you a few basic steps how to create a pull request for the to get into Hacktoberfest and get into eligibility for getting a t-shirt. Okay, so yeah, I hope everybody can see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, Purna. Yeah, now it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing you have to do is you have to go for the Hacktoberfest website. Just click on Hacktoberfestdigitalocean.com. So you can see this page and just go for start hacking. Okay, so I hope it's not necessary to read everything because you already got all those knowledge in this session. So just sign it with your GitHub and you can see a dashboard this way when you sign it to your GitHub. Currently, I've done few repo, like created few pull requests. That's why it's filled here, or else there will be empty and this will be like 0 of 0 pull request. So what you have to do is after you sign in to your GitHub profile, go to your GitHub profile back or go to your GitHub profile. Through that GitHub profile, you need to find a repository which is open for contribution, which is marked as Hacktoberfest. So from DSC TOCE, we already created a repository here. Let me show you. Yeah, the algorithms. This repository is marked for Hacktoberfest. So we'll be sharing this link. And what you have to do is, so in the DSC TOCE repository, when I search DSC TOCE here, I'll get the repo. Yeah, this is a repo. So what you have to do is just go for add file, then go for create new file, and you have to write the like what we are expecting from you is like algorithms in any languages. There are a lot many algorithms in data structure, okay, and design and analysis of algorithm subjects, right? So you would have studied it in your third year or second year of engineering. So here what we are expecting from you is like choose one algorithm, the one you are good at, fill this form like with your name so that we can ensure that no two-person is doing the code in same algorithm. And already the binary search is written, so you can choose up like linear search, and you are flexible in doing it in Python. Then you can fill this in Python. Then if there is if somebody other, like if there is another person who wants to do in linear search, even he can take up, but not in Python, but in different language. Okay, so after this, after you fill this, just go to the GitHub repo, write your file name as linear search, linear.cpp for C++ program, .py for Python program, .c for C program, .java for Java programs. Then at the like one paragraph, the first paragraph should be commented, which should be about that algorithm that you are writing, the explanation about the algorithm. Comment should be like, it depends on the languages, you know, how commenting the code. So by that you have to comment the first paragraph. I'm telling you again, the first paragraph should be about the algorithm, the explanation. Then should be the pseudocode of the algorithm. Then the proper code in that language. Even the pseudocode should be commented, and the proper code shouldn't be commented. It should be like the code should be there. After you write, just give this proposed new file. You can write a comment here. Okay, so it's showing your status like this many lines you have added, this many deletion you have done from previous file, commit. Okay, then you have to go for create pull request. After you go for create pull request, you can write up a comment here, please. This is algorithm of best search method, linear search, right? Best searching algorithm. This is the best algorithm. So then what you have to do is you have to give create pull request. So after you create pull request, you will get this branch has no conflicts with the base branch. That means there is not no duplicate of this code present in that repository. That is the meaning of this. Then we'll receive a pull request from you. Then if the pull request meets the standards that we are expecting, the rules that we told, like the first one should be the explanation, second one should be the pseudocode, and third one should be the code. And if it is like perfect, then we'll be merging it so that you can see in your Hacktober screen, like in your dashboard, that you'll be getting one of 4 full pull requests. Same way, you have to create four files so that it can meet all. Then you'll get this way. You submitted create series.cpp to DSC TOCE algorithms. This will be verified in this, matured will be in this time. So it will be reviewed by the maintainers. Yeah. After the time, you will be shown this, like if you are accepted, then if your 4 pull requests are accepted, then you are eligible to get 1 t-shirt from DigitalOcean, like from Hacktoberfest. Yeah, that's it. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. So that, yeah. I went little fast because if you have any doubts, you can ask. Guys, is my voice audible?
Yeah. So thank you, Purna. I think everyone got to know how to push the repo and your algorithms into the thing. So I'll be just sharing the link that you have to share. Okay, and for the link you have to register to. Just a minute. So this will be the link that you have to go on. Okay, yeah. So this is the GitHub repo that you'll be sharing. And we can go on with the quiz. The quizzes will be activated right now, and then you can take up the quiz.
Guys, I've shared the Excel sheet, the spreadsheets link here. So before you start with this contribution, you first mention your name there, the algorithm you're going to write, Yeah, and the language you're going to write it in. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, guys, whoever has joined, I see 20 members have joined. So we're going to start the quiz now. Go to that Slido. I think you've already joined it, and the quiz will start now. And I think there's a time limit for each question. So think properly and answer. Okay, all the best. So, guys, I think you all have finished with the quiz. Can anyone respond?
Yes.
Okay, Manisha will be sharing the screen now. Don't consider me because I already knew the answers. I was just taking part along with you guys. So the first person will be Ramya Shri, and Sridharan, and then Pankaj Gurav, and Shibangi comes fourth. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. Congratulations for the winners. I'm I'm happy to see like most of them joined the quiz and then they took part in it. So yeah, like moving on to our Hacktoberfest thing. The main thing that we have to speak up right now is till when are we gonna for the today's challenge? Till what time are we accepting the codes? So we'll be accepting the codes till 4, and we'll have a judges like looking upon the repositories that you have shared by pulling it out, and we'll announce the winners at the end, like during the closing session, I guess. So we'll be announcing the winners, and we'll have a demo if we actually have someone. We could demo a repo that a person would share. Yeah. So you can start up with your contributions right away.
Guys, one more thing. We would be like happy if you give us a one word feedback right down in Slido. Like
Exactly.
just go
Yeah.
to this link and this is the code. So give us a one word feedback about the event.
Okay. So I can see many feedbacks over here, and I thank you so much for the feedback. Uh, and last but not the least, I think I've not introduced myself. So I'm Manoj, currently technical lead at DSC TOCE. Uh, Thank you so much for joining the event and start contributing.
Yeah. So guys, for the to know the best contributions, please join back to the same link at 4 p.m. in the evening, so that we will we'll go through all the submissions and we'll find the best one, and we also share this certificate form in the evening so that you can fill it and get a certificate from Google DSC Club TOC. Thank you. So if anybody have any doubts, you can ask up before yeah. Manoj, I think we can end the meet.
Yeah. So
we'll be back by 5 and we'll share the certificate links to at that time.
Sure. So we might have one question, I guess. So is the certificate only for the winner? That's participation?
No, it's for everyone who attended today.
Yeah, we have a participation certificate. For that, we need you guys to fill in the Excel sheets that we have provided previously in the chat box. And yeah, it's not only for the winners. So we'll have the participation certificates for everyone. And yeah, Cypher, thank you so much for having a nice speech. That was very informative, Cypher. I'm really honored to have you in this call.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to come in the future as a speaker.
Sure.
Hosting more events. All right.
Sure. We'll have you in.
Sorry.
We'll have you in for the event.
All right. All right. All the best with the Hacktober Fest to all the students. And if you have any questions, like anyone, you can reach out to me. Just Google search my name, you'll find me. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Good day to all.
Yeah.
Sir, can we get connected on LinkedIn, like so that we can share you the future events and we can invite you for future events?
Absolutely. Just Google search my name. You can find my LinkedIn URL. Yeah. It's a handful to type. That's why I don't want to get the link. Let me just try getting it.
Sure.
I actually have kept a lot of workshops in the past for students. I've gone to colleges and kept it, both free and paid workshops. I haven't done that lately for the past 2 years. I think the last one was a college in Bangalore, BMS College. Yeah. So if you guys want to workshop, after this COVID situation is much more handled, I'll be happy to do that as well. I can even take a free introductory workshop in one of the topics. All right. I've shared my LinkedIn URL. You can connect there. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. So, guys, we'll be ending the meeting right away. So, we'll meet you after 4, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you all.